All right, and welcome back. Let me beep 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 beep. Put it on the float top. All right, so as I was saying in the other one, I found the track now, and as I was saying, God has kind of given us. I know I was going to throw a lot of you people off, especially those of you that uh, uh, are atheists, because I was an atheist once. Anyways, just trust me. This is, if I had to put it in a way, this is the atheist's God, something like that. Something like, yeah, an atheist God, right? If atheists could create an actual God, how would they create it? And basically be like this. So anyway, so God says, and I use that quotations, right? Because this God is not like typical gods that are associated with the word God, which usually is typically, some kind of Christian God, you know, who judges and, punishes and shit like that. What was I gonna say here? Wow, now it kicks in, huh? Woo. All right, so it's 4 in the morning. I'm gonna do this. Oh yeah, 30. Just gonna do a 30-minute session here. And call it a day. So God says eliminate money, but obviously God also understands that we are in a primitive stage of evolution, and you just can't do that. So you gotta transition. So anyways, as I was talking about, if I control the money, I'm gonna go back, and which I'm doing here in a sense, but there's still lots of work to do. Basically God lays a basis for a monetary system. So without ado, let's get started. What's going on here? Right. This thing tweaks sometimes. Let me see.
Why do we not listen to our environmentalists? Why do we not heed their warnings?
In this, as in all really important matters affecting the quality and style of life on your planet, there is a pattern which is easily discernible. You have coined a phrase in your world which answers the question perfectly. Follow the money trail.
Oh, how can we ever hope to solve these problems when fighting something as massive and insidious as that?
Simple. Eliminate money.
Eliminate money?
Yes. Or at the very least, eliminate its invisibility.
I don't understand.
Most people hide the things they are ashamed of or don't want other people to know about. That is why the largest number of you hide your sexuality. And that is why nearly all of you hide your money. That is to say, you are not open about it. You consider your money to be a very private matter. And therein lies the problem. If everyone knew everything about everybody's money situation, there would be an uprising in your country and on your planet, the likes of which you've never seen. And in the aftermath of that, there would be fairness and equity, honesty, and true for the good of all priority in the conduct of human affairs. It's now not possible to bring fairness or equity, honesty, or the common good to the marketplace because money is so easy to hide. You can actually physically take it and hide it. There are also all manner of means by which creative accountants can cause corporate money to be hidden or to disappear. Since money can be hidden, there's no way for anyone to know exactly how much anyone else has or what they are doing with it. This makes it possible for a plethora of inequity, if not to say double dealing, to exist. Corporations can pay two people vastly different wages for doing the same job, for instance. They can pay one person $57,000 a year, while paying the other $42,000 a year for performing the exactly identical function, giving one employee more than the other simply because the first employee has something the second employee does not.
What's that?
A penis.
Now, mind you, this is kind of a sidetrack note here because it deals with. In this channel, I don't really deal with the complexity of relationships between men and women and just people in general. And because of the propaganda of feminism making it out to be like some kind of epidemic, thing, when it's really not. So even though the book is covering it, yes, it is one of many issues that we have to address in society. But is it like crazy rampant? No. Also, again, God says too, think for yourselves. Okay, it just lays the basis of how to critically think. So that's why I love this book. That's why this God is not the regular God, that's making decisions for you and blah blah blah. Also, let's see. So things are also balanced in sense in the market or in the culture. Sure, ladies earn less, but they flex their sexual power to get men. Basically, men buy them things, right? You look at household data. Who's spending most of the money in the household? Married households. It's the woman. Okay, corporations love to manipulate people's emotions, and women just fall for more for it than anything else because they go with their emotions. It's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's only a bad thing is because that it shows that on average it produces chaos, and that's why it's women have somewhere also been known, like Dr. Jordan Peterson talks about, the feminine known has been associated with chaos. You know, so but again, things can evolve, men can evolve and realize, hey, okay, this is nature. I am designed to control and direct the energy. So if women are being chaotic, it's actually because of us. We haven't created the right environment for them to be at peace or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, it's not really an epidemic. There's just you have to understand that there is millions, billions, even if not trillion dollars already spent on this concept of feminism that was really engineered to have men and women fight each other. The absurdity is that women fell for it ultimately, and also some men too, and just anyway. So let's continue. This bullshit again. 206. What the fuck? Maybe because it is 4 a.m. 206.
Why do we not listen to our environmentalists? Why do we not heed their warnings?
The first employee has something the second employee does not.
What's that?
A penis.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, indeed.
But you don't understand. Having a penis makes the first employee more valuable than the second. Quicker-witted, smarter by half, obviously more capable.
I don't remember constructing you that way. I mean, so unequal in abilities.
Well, you did, and I'm surprised you don't know it. Everyone on this planet knows it.
We better stop this now or people will think we're really serious.
You mean we're not? Well, we are. I mean, the people on the planet are. That's why women can't be Roman Catholic or Mormon priests, or show up on the wrong side of the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem, or climb to the top job in Fortune 500 companies, or pilot airliners.
Yes, we get the point. And my point is that pay discrimination, at least, would be much more difficult to get away with if all money transactions were made visible instead of hidden. Can you imagine what would happen in every workplace on the globe if all companies were forced to publish all the salaries of all the employees?
So let me give you an example of how ridiculous people are. Because some of you will understand how ridiculous people are. Even though some of you people actually are some of the ridiculous people, but that remains to be uncovered. So let me give you an example, right? So my buddy's girlfriend basically is, I want to say she's a hardcore feminist, right? But a feminist nonetheless, right? And so I was mentioning that a solution in general about, again, first of all, I was just talking with him and she fucking butted in. Anyway, so I was saying, I was talking about basically this, right? That the solution is to bring financial visibility, right? And she's like, no, I don't want that, because she's citing of what other people observed, that when employees talk about how much they make, there ends up being some infighting, some jealousy, and basically causing problems for the company. So that's why it's frowned upon, And so she suspects that she's going to get hated by other people in her company because she's making more money than they are, for probably essentially doing the same amount of work. But that's so subjective, man. Like, whew, even if you analyze two people, like depending on there's just certain skill sets. It's usually office skill sets are hard to kind of quantify to a certain degree, and depending what kind of office context. Now, when building something, your productivity and hands-on stuff, like real hands-on stuff. Okay, for example, right? It I'm in the acrylic business, right? If they showed how fast I remodel a bathroom compared to some other guy with the exact same everything, right? Everything's the same. If I obviously outperform him, it's just visible, right? It's just clear because it's an easy apples to apples comparison. But there's other things that just it's hard to there's some gray areas. But at one point we are gonna have to make a decision to move forward. In a sense we have, but after we made a decision to move forward, do we also analyze things as things change? So that's the other factor that don't people understand, that sometimes it's like, okay, it's like, let's say it's a business, basically depending on what business you're in, you have seasons. So like down here in Florida, right, they know that the holiday season, and just in general, right, there's a holiday season, right, for these tourist destination places. So they have higher income around those times than other times, right? So when it's busy season, you can't necessarily expect the same amount of productivity from the people because it's just a different environment. And I'm just saying, most companies don't factor these things. I could just go on about all these deficiencies and problems, but I guess I'm happy I encountered them, so I can have solutions and not repeat the same errors. So in that case, I was blessed, even though I was kind of cursed in how they treated me. But anyways. Oh my God. Okay, I might just have to play it all the way through and then talk about some topics here. Jesus.
Why do we not listen to our environmentalists? Why do we not heed their
ranges for particular job classifications, but the actual compensation awarded to each individual?
Well, there goes playing two ends against the middle right out the window.
Yep.
And there goes what he doesn't know won't hurt him.
Yep.
And there goes, hey, if we can't get it for 1/3 less, why should we pay more?
Uh-huh.
And there goes apple polishing and kissing up to the boss and the inside track and company politics.
And much, much more would disappear from the workplace and from the world through the simple expedient of uncovering the money trail. Think of it. If you knew exactly how much money each of you holds and the real earnings of all your industries and corporations and each of their executives, as well as how each person and corporation is using the money it has, don't you think that would change things? Think about this. In what ways do you think things would change? The plain fact is that people would never put up with 90% of what is going on in the world if they knew what was going on. Society would never sanction the extraordinarily disproportionate distribution of wealth, much less the means by which it is gained, or the manner in which it is used to gain more, were these facts known, specifically and immediately, by all people everywhere. Nothing breeds appropriate behavior faster than exposure to the light of public scrutiny. That is why your so-called sunshine laws have done so much good in clearing away some of the awful mess of your political and governance system. Public hearings and public accountability has gone far toward eliminating the kinds of backroom antics that went on in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s in your town halls and school boards and political precincts and national government as well. Now it's time to bring some sunshine to the way you deal with compensation for goods and services on your planet.
What are you suggesting?
This is not a suggestion, it is a dare. I dare you to throw out all your money, all your papers and coins and individual national currencies and start over. Develop an international monetary system that is wide open, totally visible, immediately traceable, completely accountable. Establish a worldwide compensation system by which people would be given credits for services rendered and products produced, and debits for services used and products consumed. Everything would be on the system of credits and debits. Returns on investments, inheritances, winnings of wages, salaries and wages, tips and gratuities, everything. And nothing could be purchased without credits. There would be no other negotiable currency, and everyone's records would be open to everyone else. It has been said, show me a man's bank account and I'll show you the man. This system comes close to that scenario. People would, or at least could, know a great deal more about you than they know now. But not only would you know more about each other, you would know more about everything. More about what corporations are paying and spending, and what their cost is on an item, as well as their price. Can you imagine what corporations would do if they had to put 2 figures on every price tag? The price and their cost? Would that bring prices down, or what? Would that increase competition and boost fair trade? You can't even imagine the consequences of such a thing. Under the new Worldwide Compensation System, WCS, the transfer of debits and credits would be immediate and totally visible. That is, anybody and everybody could inspect the account of any person or organization at any time. Nothing would be kept secret. Nothing would be private. The WCS would deduct 10% of all earnings each year from the incomes of those voluntarily requesting such a deduction. There would be no income tax, no forms to file, no deductions to figure, no escape hatch to construct, or obfuscation to manufacture. Since all records would be open, everyone in the society would be able to observe who was choosing to offer the 10% for the general good of all and who was not. This voluntary deduction would go towards support of all the programs and services of the government as voted on by the people. The whole system would be all very simple, all very visible.
And the world would never agree to such a thing.
Of course not. And do you know why? Because such a system would make it impossible for anyone to do anything they didn't want someone else to know about. Yet why would you want to do something like that anyway? I'll tell you why. Because currently you live within an interactive social system based on taking advantage, getting the edge, making the most, and the survival of the so-called fittest. And the chief aim and goal of your society, as it is in all truly enlightened societies, is the survival of all, the benefit equally of all, the providing of a good life for all. Then your need for secrecy and quiet dealings and under-the-table maneuverings and money which can be hidden will disappear. You realize how much good old-fashioned corruption, to say nothing of lesser unfairnesses and inequities, would be eliminated through the implementation of such a system. The secret here, the watchword here, is visibility.
Wow, what a concept, what an idea. Absolute visibility in the conduct of our monetary affairs. I keep trying to find a reason why that would be wrong, why that would not be okay, but I can't find one.
Of course you can't, because you've got nothing to hide. But can you imagine what the people of money and power in the world would do, and how they would scream if they thought of every move, every purchase, every sale, every dealing, every corporate action and pricing choice and wage negotiation, every decision whatsoever could be reviewed by anyone simply looking at the bottom line? I tell you, there's nothing breeds fairness faster than visibility. Visibility is simply another word for truth. Know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Governments, corporations, people of power know that, which is why they will never allow the truth, the plain and simple truth, to be the basis of any political, social, or economic system they would devise. In enlightened societies, there are no secrets. Everyone knows what everyone else has, what everyone else earns, what everyone else pays in wages and taxes and benefits. What every other corporation charges and buys and sells, and for how much and for what profit, and everything. Everything.
So there you go. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but for those that are, on the other side of the fence or about to cross over, because of this, I realize, like, okay, yeah, if you were like one of those people that is all like, well, the government shouldn't be in our business. Da, da, da. Well, it wasn't. God wasn't talking about the government actually. Again, it's visible to everybody. So, yeah. Obviously, I would see basically what I would assume, just like I would see some people who have uncovered, financial lies in all different ways, from the guy from the Bernie Madoff, to Enron, all that stuff, right? There'll be someone or a small group of people, usually it's led by someone, but it might be, in certain cases, it might be 2 or 3 people, but because they're both, it's like a little team that formed to dig through all the massive financial data, because some of these companies have massive financial data, so some people will be proactive in searching for that. They'll find it, and then with our system, they would be able to alert everybody and be like, yo, look, let's, like how we're seeing actually right now with Bitcoin. Okay, so now relating it back to Bitcoin in a sense, when I started thinking, I'm like, oh shit, but Bitcoin was, now that I'm looking at it, Bitcoin was a proof of concept, right? Meaning that the concept of a public ledger, right? So there you go, visibility, right? It's public, right? All the transactions are public, right? Public ledger. So there's the visibility aspect of it. And obviously it's worldwide, right? The internet allows us to do that or whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, Bitcoin still may be the what they're calling the base layer, but then you're gonna have layer 1, layer 2 solutions or whatever, So the layer 3 solution technologies will be for that rapid currency aspect, but eventually it all gets hard written into that's why such a big controversy about the energy that it takes and all this stuff. But again, there's always a price to pay for, I guess, higher quality, right? But at one point too, again, that's also just goes back to our whole energy system period. This is outside of Bitcoin's, okay, Bitcoin's taking a good chunk of it or whatever, but still, beyond Bitcoin, we have to solve how we actually power our stuff, and when we see solar and all sorts of stuff, and again, other technologies have probably been oppressed. I don't think it's, all I'm trying to say is not really a big thing to concern ourselves about. It's a concern for sure. We have to solve this money problem first, which would allow, all right, so that's the thing. So even though it is consuming energy, toxic energy, coal, whatever, even though those that are mining it are actually looking for a cheaper source, because again, this is where capitalism incentivizes them to do so. Fuck, I had a brain fart. Security. Shit, I'm tired. It's 4 or 5 in the morning now. Damn. Just got inspired, but anyways, visibility. The Bitcoin is visibility, right? So the next, the layer 3 that's formed, or however, or the ultimate crypto gets formed, whatever replaces Bitcoin in a sense, because it might happen, which would be this system, would also, I'm trying to say here, the Bitcoin, I had a point on this, fuck. Yeah, everything would be visible. Oh, on top of it, because I'm thinking of my design, it's like, okay, I'm looking at the app. The credit union would be the first integration of this. Like, okay, this is Joe Schmo, this is how much he makes. Now, so I think I covered it in another video already, but the transparency wouldn't go as far as, so for the people that, my secrecy and stuff like that, of like, I don't, for me it's hard to imagine, because most things that pot's legal now, so, and they'll figure out some kind of way to exchange value for value, so I'm saying, like, let's say coke or heroin or whatever, at least guns or whatever, they would figure out a way to, there's always a way around it for the most part. But anywho, point is, yes, you would be able to see a person's, how much they have, how much money they have. And once they spend it on something, well, that becomes a ledger in the public thing, right? So the person has privacy, right? I don't know why you would need privacy. One thing I can imagine, like, well, I got a porn subscription. If someone looks how much porn I eat, they can figure out how much I eat, what I eat, all this stuff, right? You know, even though porn's legal, so I don't know. Yeah, in a sense, yes, it still would be. See, for me, I wouldn't give a fuck. You know, I wouldn't care. Obviously, in this society, I would obviously prostitution would be legalized. So yeah, they would just see me have, you know, basically spend a lot on, you know, on just having sex with girls. So I'm not gonna see. That's why God said we also repress our sexuality, because we are ashamed of it. But obviously, if you listen to the books and you understand and you become more involved, there's no reason why you should be ashamed for wanting to have sex with multiple people. Like, it's one of the greatest gifts that God has given us. But again, as God said too, we are very primitive, so I don't expect a lot of you to understand. Just like God said, eliminate money, but He understands that we're too primitive. So the next transition phase is to make it visible, and then once we got used to that, and we've are more, what's it called, unashamed and less greedy, then the systems that I've designed too will move forward. We'll be able to really connect. Yeah, once production is kind of becomes the Internet of Things, and basically there's more information, basically more real-time information. There we go. There's more real-time information, and yeah, basically production's being done because of the real-time information. So when you look back at Russia and you look at people talk about the history when they went communist or whatever, and how production was handled, there was always a mismatch between what people wanted, and by the time they got to market, they no longer wanted it. Now that's what they learned. And that's what I learned, right? It's just like that's why I studied the fuck out of so many different systems, right? To take the best. Okay, where did you guys have improvement or whatever, or were good, and where did you guys fail? Where what was the limit of this system? You know. So yeah, but they didn't live in the age of the internet. See, the internet is the wild card that's changed everything, that some of us are still trying to wrap our heads around, and we're still now, in a sense, now that the internet's been put in our Crayola box, now we're creating crazy exceptional things, right? And now crypto's added, right? So crypto's, it's like the next best thing since the internet was invented, basically. And it's true, especially because it deals with money. But we're piggybacking on the internet, right? So without the internet, we really can't have crypto. So yeah, in Russia, because they didn't have real-time data, there was a mismatch between what people wanted in production. And again, it's just, okay, you can't blame people for changing their mind. It's just a phenomenon in life. Again, the law of impermanence. So technology, the speed of it allows us to communicate faster, real-world data, real-time data and everything else, then we can have a much more smoother distribution of resources. That's all it is, right? So right now we're using money to figure that out, but eventually we'll figure it out. I mean, I figured it out, basically, so that's what I'm presenting. I'm basically, yes, years from now, people are going to remember me, and remember me. If they don't, whatever, it doesn't really matter. I had fun creating this system, and I'll watch it from when I'm in the heavens, or, in spirit form, be like, cool, that was awesome. Okay, next mission, and just, anyway, so, all right, so enough of that, all right? So I'm just saying, okay, so when in the future you see how basically this is just the making of what it took to make that app and whole structure, So I'm gonna give you a quick tour of my master, what I call in essence knowledge bases nowadays. So this was I approached these three guys. I forgot what he said, why I approached them. But yeah, this guy was the guy who crowdfunded the most money ever in Colombia, and because they have different laws out there, he could do it. It's not like this fucking shit that we have in America. And he built a skyscraper, and where is that skyscraper? But yeah, right here it is. And yeah, all people are basically our co-owners in there, and they imagine owning this multifamily asset, So Anyways, this guy over here was an architect, and he designed. He had his team do some renderings to kind of give you a feel. I'm like, okay, this is good. See, he has the roads. This is basically the reason why I love it is because it's kind of already what I'm thinking like, right? You don't, and in this case, you don't have to necessarily have a circle. You have hexagons, which, nature and the honeycomb and all of this stuff, and it looks pretty sexy, right? So, but you can also have circles within those, right? There's nothing that we can't see, but it looks more like a cool crystal, right? So that's what I'm saying. So, as you can see here, yeah, the cool geometry you can do, right? Here's more of a pyramid, right? Da 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 da. So there's ways of playing with this, and I like it how there's also mountains, so it can interface. So you can say this is like, oh yeah, this is where I think this is. He said this is on the border. That's why the border's right there. So they superimpose this. I forgot what part of Mexico, but anyways, regardless, you could say this is Colorado, right? This is the Front Range or whatever, and this is Denver. What can become Denver? I think at one point. Yeah, at one point, as certain technologies evolve, especially the technology to disintegrate material and bring them down to the raw core material in a faster, speedier way, like just let's say a laser, just like this laser, just decompositions everything, and then you can spit it out the raw. So okay, spit all the concrete, spit all the metal, and whatever. Anyway, So yeah, I reached out to them. They never replied. This guy got cancer, whatever, but he had ayahuasca. Anyways, whatever. So, phases of the project, right? So just have many different ways of breaking it down. Again, you're trying to make it, small pieces, complex things and breaking down into small pieces. Let's actually read this here. Initiative project objectives: to create a baseline template for a new governance and monetary system. Design and create a website to market the economy. It's basically economy. It's more of an A than an O. So economy, right? And crowdfund capital to develop and remodel towns, village/cities. To design and build a prototype eco mega village, aka city, to prove feasibility, help towns, villages, cities, and countries transition to the new economy. Project benefits: wiping out hunger, starvation, drudgery, jealousy, possessiveness, and needless wars over resources. Creating a thriving environment of real equal opportunity, but not equality in fact. That's, yeah. Further ocean and most importantly space. Further ocean and most importantly space exploration. So planning, website, civil and architectural design, marketing, legal, crowdfunding. Construction phase, control and performance and control, project close, operation and maintenance schedules, and then a decommissioning in. That's usually more reserved for like a nuclear or a waste site facility. That's why that's there in the project management structure aspects. Anyways, so steps of success, right? Here's a bunch of different stuff with different idea: marketing, branding, marketing feedback, update or adjust design, website design ideas, Pinterest like posting feature for people to suggest ideas for each department. The revolution you have been waiting for. Okay, these are just slogans. The revolution you've been waiting for, slogan. I was thinking the other day that the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will be internetized. See, it's kind of a hard, so that's why I'm thinking another way might be webinized. Livenized. Okay, the future will not be televised. It will be webinized. Just like a webcam type of thing, or Zoom or whatever. Yeah. Something dealing with the internet, obviously. I see YouTube tags. Basic idea: Mondragon hybrid with the spirit of open source ecology. That's what it was, I think, or economy, or I forgot. Design, marketing, yeah. Okay, so anyways, departments and divisions, you can see the problems, solutions, right? And then key things in these departments. So let's say here. So yeah, see, I tried to. Oh yeah, these numbers represent how many people I think what each company would need to provide the services to everybody, and I think it came up. It was like a total of. Let me see. Let me do the math here real quick. I think it was 300. Wait a minute. Select here. Some yeah, about 375 people. So we need about. So I would say round up to like at least 1,000 people would be nice. But bare minimum, as you can see here, bare minimum, give or take, 2% of margin of error, whatever, you're looking at 375. So we'll just say 400 people just to make it a round number, right? So ideal situation to cover all these things, you need about 400 people, So yeah, as you can see, I have quite a bit of over up here, right? That's what we're going through is real quick. Okay, so just go real quick, all right? This was me trying to figure out, of course, that's where the crypto is going to come into play here. Crypto will come into play here. It's going to simplify, like God said, once we have that. And guys obviously talking, this has to be digital. Obviously, it just makes sense. Digital makes sense ecological wise with the growing and destroying of paper, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, so this is me trying to do that, trying to figure out, how basically create the formula to split the profits with everybody. But again, the banking, all that stuff will be taken care of. The banking and the co-ops will do that. It's just usual business accounting, right? We'll figure it out. Yeah, solutions, some other way of structuring it here. Monetary studies. So I used to put everything on here, but now I'm moving it more to Google Sheets because it's more user friendly. But I'm always going to have it here because I love working faster here, but it's just a pain in the process to transfer it to over there. Anyways, the variables of profit. This is for people who don't understand business. That's why there's a disconnect between entrepreneurs and your regular workers, right? If the workers knew some of this stuff, it probably wouldn't happen, and vice versa. Anyways, I'm not too much on that thing. Water knowledge base here. Let's see what else. Yes, just screenshots. Just my knowledge base here of water, my food. And there's a lot more. And that's another thing. I have folders over here, right? And I have lots of bookmarks in my web browser too, that hopefully are still around. That's why I try to screenshot, because you never know, those things might go away. So the cost of true ownership, I'm trying to do a real crazy line by line item of the bare minimums that everybody needs, right? So I can come up with the numbers so we know what it would cost, what a person has to produce for us to break even in this stuff. It is what it is, people. We have to do the numbers, okay? And there's also, it's just accounting and all that stuff and money is just a way of balancing out who contributed to what, so we have a fair system. Obviously, that has been unfair because of the way we created these other systems, but I'm saying once we eliminate those possibilities, again, for example, there would be no other corporate structure except a cooperative corporation. Okay, everybody that works for a company is a co-owner. Of course, you can still get fired, but the abuse of your labor won't be abused as much. But again, usually we get fired because you're probably not producing good labor anyway. So, in this case, you're in the wrong, and the cooperatives is in the correct. So here again, just trying to see everything I use daily. What does it cost? Because you see, there's certain costs that are just going to fluctuate and vary throughout time. For different reasons. Potential sleeping attire. Okay, yeah, just trying to break everything down. I'm trying to get very meticulous. This case, startup costs. Wait, clothing. Oh yeah, this was the clothing line when I started going into clothing, learning how to sew and all that other stuff. Towel system that I developed. There's a lot of products. This is one of my products I'm developing. True income needed. Okay, that's just showing people how to calculate their price so they know how to charge properly. Make the right amount of money. yeah, this is just teaching people how to understand tax brackets and doing the formulas there and just showing how easy it is. The hard part, really, the hard part is just finding out your deductions and your credits and adjusting your gross income, especially if you have multiple sources. That's why taxes may seem hard, but at the end of the day, once you find that number, you plug it into this bracket, and that's how your tax liability is calculated. Yeah, this was just trying to do some numbers of what it would, cost or whatever. Yeah, ephemeralization, the ability of technological investment to do more and more with less until, yeah, exactly. Yeah, just estimating what I would need. This one's, yeah, basically, this one's, see, I'm estimating already almost $1 billion there. See, yeah, almost $1 billion. Sounds about right. Let's see, figure city revenue, see what, okay, cool, the first co-op city designed and founded by the people for the people. So what would it actually take to build eco-society, co-op, open cities, open source eco-cities of tomorrow where the residents co-own the city together? You'll see it all starts with knowing what towns, religious cities are corporations, as you know, as a business also known as a business entity. Town, villages, and cities build and expand by selling bonds, right? Municipal bonds. And so I don't know. I started gathering some data to basically, yeah, I gotta explain to you the business of a town, so you can understand how you're gonna get paid. On how the town runs as a business. Oh yeah. Yeah, so just, yeah, more about town developers. People are like, how is that possible? It's like, how do towns? Well, yeah, these people make these moves, and this is how it starts. Let's see here, rewards for donations. See, so yeah, this is where I was trying to make some kind of crowdfunding and with some kind of rewards or whatever. Yeah, see, some kind of script for the video. Hexagonal City. So yeah, so here's a bunch of cool other, yeah, just showing. I think this is in Spain. I forgot what that was. I wish I would have. Whatever. I think this is some kind of Minecraft, or I don't know. Someone built a city on some computer shit. This was a rendering of someone gonna build it in I think Asia or whatever. But it looks pretty cool. But again, for me though, the thing with all this stuff is like, okay, what do these buildings do? So, because right now it's just more of an art. But we should just focus more right now, primarily more on functionality than aesthetics. We're still going to try to find a balance, but at one point, to move forward and move faster, sometimes you just got to, again, to prove the concept, sometimes your prototype doesn't have to be beautiful looking. Look at the transistor that fundamentally changed computers. Go look at the history of that, and look at the first raw proof of concept and working concept prototype. It looks crazy, but and then just flash forward to what it has been reduced to now, which is microchips, fucking just crazy. It's crazy. It's like magic. So yeah, this is just showing how the city would look at night with the lights up and whatever. People skydiving, having fun. This is someone's rendering here. I think this is a rendering to somebody. Yeah, it's people just making some renderings, right? So just different ways of looking at it, right? This one's actually built, so that's cool. This one I liked a lot. This one kind of reminds me of what I want to build for our city, or our town or village, whatever. Our village will have one of these first. Why? Because we don't want to disturb the land. And it's also cost effective to build up, So there's many advantages. Of course, there's always disadvantages too, but there's more advantages in the long run and short term. These guys created this shit in in Libyan, some kind of people out in the rural area farming, and yeah, they created this cool shit. So hexagonal cities. Yeah, I guess this is looking at different real world examples. This is a big mega mall that they're gonna build in China. So yeah, looking at the American grid system in different towns. There's Portland, San Francisco, how they basically created the blocks. I like this too, more of a terrace, right? So they can be it could be a circular city, kind of like the fucking New Apple headquarters or whatever, right? But it would be like this terrace where you'll be growing some fruit, whatever. But this green roof stuff, it's good on paper, but when you talk about the added cost to having concrete roofs to reinforce all that, and again, dealing with concrete, depending on how you view on concrete, how it's sourced, yeah. Whereas, okay, no, we have the division, obviously we'll have spaces with trees and stuff like that, but if fruit bearing trees and all that stuff, again, we'd rather have it out in the farms than there'll be some public areas that will have a fruit bearing tree, but we don't want trees usually that's going to drop a lot of fruit that's going to cause all kinds of fruit flies and needless work of picking it up and cleaning it, right, washing it off. So yeah, this whole green roof stuff is not really whatever, but still I want terraces. It's nice to have terraces. So if you have your little porch thing, then yeah, you can grow your own little fruit stash too if you want to, but yeah, this is just too much extra expense that it would cost to make the roof stronger to hold the weight, and then dealing with all the water and the roots growing, and no, it's good in paper, but just not in real practice. So anyways, energy production, these are definitely the must. We must invest in these energy to waste machines, and I found a really badass one. This is me calculating. This is my design on SketchUp, so I was able to calculate how much acres we need. So roughly to produce these, so I used the biggest circular irrigation systems you can find. Again, I'm more about just like max efficiency right now, right? And the beauty will be in how just how it looks, right? Just like, again, we can see beauty in anything. So you're gonna see the beauty because you're gonna see, because these things are placed this way, right? Sure, it may not be like aesthetically pleasing when we look up or whatever. I mean, I think it is. I mean, these they may just look bland or whatever, but it's like, it's the max, is so we can grow food with the maximum efficiency, right? So, but the point is, because of that, you're able to have this abundance, and we basically eliminated hunger, and therefore, who cares if to you it just doesn't look pretty, it's just, is it functional, So, yeah, I use that basically as a starting point, a reference point. Okay, what, if we were to align, if these were to align, create a circle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, eight because of the north, south, east, west, and diagonal fucking ways that we need to make to bring in cargo, bring in stuff, right? So then I found one right here, Northeast Colorado, and that's selling for $5 million. So, but I don't know, we want to be that far out, whatever, so whatever, figure it out. Again, maybe the first city, we won't be able to expand out here, but again, we can do, so this will be a modular system, okay? We would have a modular system. So, yeah, I mean, would we monocrop with this one? No, because we're not going to be monocropping. And we can, yeah, we would have to approach the design differently. But if the ideal situation would be nice like this, we have 8 different crops that we rotate, right? We have our, our staples or whatever. Not that we can't have other ones minor. Who's to say we can't have half the size of these largest central pivot irrigation systems, whatever out here, so to add more crops as necessary. But anyways, personal home design, yeah, this is a cool touch screen interactive thing that I'm going to put in my house to speed up my design for the thing to give to the creative agencies. So yeah, so I'm just producing the skeletal work, the foundation, and then they can also add their artistic and creativity. A dog wash for my dogs. That's just waste energy machine, waste management. Okay, so yeah, see here, just trying to break down. Oh yeah, like I said, so look, see, this one I went hardcore with this one. So yeah, as you can see, that's why I can talk for hours and hours, and I find myself talking for hours. I was like, like I don't really want to listen to people because a lot of stuff they say I already heard, I already processed it. It's like, like you're not thinking at my level. Again, I'm not trying to be an asshole in here, and it may sound like that, but it's like I'm a man with passion. I'm on a mission, So yeah, I've showcasing how people do it all, different parts of the world. So yeah, I just take what I try to again. I don't try to reinvent the wheel when it's not necessary. I try to find the best places that are doing it, and so yeah. Anyways, I basically, as you can see, I've really created an elaborate system to really look down the chain of waste and all that stuff. Okay, no, this didn't do nothing with that timeline. Yeah, so yeah, see, so talk about this whole metaverse. Again, this is I wish the program would tell you when I added this picture. So you can see this was years ago, and you can tell here. You can see when I created the file, but yeah. So I plan on using VR for people to experience their apartment in town first, and we can just co-design that way. So. Yeah, I'm just not, again, I'm getting tired here. We gotta keep on. Yeah. Hopefully you guys can see the big picture there. Oh yeah, this is my, oh yeah, cool. Yeah, this is my, one of the access storage systems or whatever that we archive your stuff, and yeah, this is the sharing system that's gonna basically transition us to no money. But I'm not gonna get into that. This is one of my passions. This is the next thing I'll probably get into. I think I already made the video, but I want to redo it again. Let's see here. Oh yeah, here it is. Here it is. This was the what the fuck happened? Huh. Yeah, I'm tired. I'll go over it the next video. So Tesla Capital is going to be the name of the real estate firm, and yeah, because we have to prove ourselves. We're gonna go into the multifamily and new real estate development to prove ourselves. So when they look at me like, okay, who's the leader, who's leading this crowdfund? Oh, he's the founder of Tesla Capital, and they got X amount of assets under management, and now they're doing a very bold capital fundraising, right? So yeah, we got to get our feet wet and build some trust. You in a sense you can do it without, but I think it would help more. Right, so that's why I was like, okay, this may not happen. It may need another 10 more years of me doing whatever, but it's going to happen, right? So in those 10 years, I'll build my portfolio. I'll build my evidence that I am basically competent enough to manage people's capital. And yeah, that's another reason why I haven't. I guess now thinking about it, that's another reason why I haven't really asked for donations. But also without the donations, I'm also realizing that donations are raising capital. Well, no, right now donations are basically, we need donations for seed capital, but that doesn't mean that I wouldn't keep track of those that provided seed capital and potentially give them equity. It's just I can't promise you equity now because I don't know where things can go yet, right? But I do promise you that if there is a carve out for people who initially donated. There might be some reward for it, some return on investment in a sense. So it'll turn from being in a donation to an investment, and but the ultimate return on investment is you being able to live in this community and have that breath of relief that you have the whole community, whether you know them or not. More importantly, whether you associate with them to a certain degree, you all have each other's back. They won't basically let you fall down, economically speaking. Now, if you become a drug user and depressed and all this other stuff and kill yourself, that's a whole other aspect, meaning killing yourself slowly or fast or whatever. That's a whole other animal. But yeah, you're not going to go starving and you're not going to go homeless if you're just a basic, decent human being. All right, good night, y'all. Peace.